Welcome back to another special edition of the Choose Optimism podcast brought to you by Optimism International. We're continuing our journey interviewing past junior golfers in our international tournament. And today we have Avery McGrath from Falls Church, Virginia. Avery, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Now you played in the 2024 in the 10 to 12 girls range, right?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that and how you became affiliated and heard about the Optimist tournament.
So, Optimist was one of my first 3-day tournaments ever, also as well as traveling on a plane with my golf clubs. So we got into it because my dad started signing up for more and more tournaments, and he found the Optimist, and it was a very well-known tournament, and so we signed up for it, and we did the qualifier, and then I finally qualified, and I went down to Florida.
Have you heard where you're qualified for this year is going to be yet?
I believe Langston Golf Course.
So you're getting all ready for the 2026 tournament now.
Yes.
Tell us about the qualifier in a little bit and what kind of a step by step of how you went through the qualifier.
So the qualifier, I believe it was my first qualifier ever. So I was a little nervous that day. But I mainly just kind of split it up into different holes and just mentally staying in the game is what I mainly did.
Is there a hole that sticks out in your qualifier that was a really good one?
On the back nine towards the end on 15, it's a par five. And so there's water to the right and left, so it's a really nervous tee shot. So once I had that tee shot and I got found the fairway, I felt very much in control and was I knew that I was gonna be able to score very well.
Which course were you playing for your qualifier?
Langston, so it's the same course.
Same course it will be for this year. Very cool. Tell us a little bit how you felt when you did make the qualifier and made the cut to go to Florida.
It felt great. So I got a little trophy for qualifying for winning the tournament. So it was a lot of fun. And then just knew finally how to kind of mentally stay in different tournaments too. So it's taught me a lot.
What was your feeling when you first got to the course in Miami? What was running through your mind?
Um, Mainly it was like, oh my gosh, how beautiful it was and how many people I was gonna meet is really that was kind of what was running through my mind a lot, but also kind of the tournament aspect of it and just kind of like getting in the zone, understanding everything. So that was probably what was running through my mind the most.
Which course did you play while you were in Miami?
I played the Red Tiger.
And you played that one for all 3 days?
Yes.
Tell us about your experience on the golf course that you had.
So the golf course is obviously so pretty. But I played with a ton of people and it was just so much fun and I've had so many good experiences at that course because I actually got my first hole in one there.
Oh, congratulations. That must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
So that's probably the best hole that sticks out for you, that or your first hole in one.
It does, yeah.
What were some of the people that you played with? How did you meet with the other kids and interact with them?
So I met a girl from Peru, Mexico, Thailand, and then one other girl from the US from Texas actually. So I've met a lot of people. It was so much fun. And then I was just talking with some of the people on the putting green and they were from all over. Like I've met people from China, Canada. I think I believe there was like 15 countries represented at that tournament. So it's a lot, but I got to meet a lot of people.
So you obviously know about your best hole when you got your hole in one at the tournament. Tell us about your worst hole that you had at the tournament.
Ooh. So it was hole 14 and it's a par three. So there's water to the left and there's a bunker to the right. So I was telling myself not to go into the water to the left. So I pushed it out to the right in the bunker and I think it took me like 3 strokes just to get out of that bunker. So that hole sticks with me too as well.
Well, good thing you got the hole in one to bring it down 2 strokes automatically.
Exactly.
How many? You said you had met international players. How many do you think were that you met that you played with and saw during the tournament from international countries?
Oh boy. Let me think about this. Probably like six, like 5 or 6 of them were from different countries, but from the girls' division, it was about probably 4 that I've met.
Did anyone that you met from an international side have a better relationship with you during when you were down in Miami?
So there's this one girl from Texas, and so Optimist does like different things like outside of the tournament, like they do a long drive and the putt putt and all that stuff. So we both qualified for the long drive, and so we kind of hung out with each other for a bit, and we got to talk about all our favorite players and golfers and all that.
What was some of your favorite experiences during the tournament, during like not when you're actually playing, but other aspects of the tournament, like the long drive contest, the putting contest? Fill us in on some of that stuff that you guys got to do.
So there's a at night it was like a glow in the dark putting competition. So that was probably the most fun for me. I mean, it was just great because we were kind of like we were playing with new people. It was kind of just going out as you were like as you were in line. It was like a foursome, but you were playing with people from the boys and girls divisions. But like not only like your division, it would be like older kids or younger kids. So that was also a lot of fun. But that's probably the one that resonates with me the most.
Did you do anything outside the golf tournament with your family, like visit a certain place in Florida that you were excited to see, or was there some of the things that you did for experiences outside of the tournament?
Yeah, so one of my friends from the Optimist actually lives like right next like cl really close to us. So we went out with them into Miami, and so his dad rented out a limousine for us to all ride in and have dinner in Miami and like just kind of walk on the beach. So it was a lot of fun there. So that was the best part outside of the tournament.
Riding chauffeured around in a limousine, that's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
So we talked about when you guys were playing, you said you talked to different players about their favorite player that you follow, such as the LPGA Tour, I'm assuming. Are there some golfers that you look up to that are on the LPGA?
Yeah, so my favorite player right now in the LPGA is Lexi Thompson. So she's kind of partially retired, but she actually played the Optimist tournament too a while back. So it was a lot of fun to have something in common with one of my favorite LPGA pros.
That is a great experience, I think, for to have them play in the same tournament that you're playing in right now.
Exactly.
Tell us more about your experience with meeting new people and making friends throughout the tournament.
Yeah, so I've met so many people because after the round or before the round, you just practice sort of. So I met like a bunch of girls from Canada on the shipping green because I guess they all traveled down together. So I got to kind of just hang out with them a bit, and that was a lot of fun. But I mean, everybody was so inclusive at the Optimist tournament that it was really easy to make friends or make connections with someone. And I think that's one of the other aspects that I really enjoyed down there.
Did the Optimist Club help pay to get you to Florida, or did you have to fundraise mostly on your own?
They actually helped paid a bit, and so it was a lot of fun. But it was also kind of nice because since they helped pay, we were able to come down and like kind of enjoy the whole trip. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you do any fundraiser yourself to help pay for your trip to Florida?
No, I did not.
What advice would you have for somebody that's getting ready to play in their first qualifier, and even that they're nervous or they're not sure if they want to go? What would you give them for advice if they were getting ready for a qualifier to go to Florida?
Honestly, I just say like trust your process, stick to the process, and also be mentally ready. And I think the best way to get mentally ready is know that you've practiced enough or um I guess prepped enough to do so. And I think that's one of the best things to do before a qualifier.
One of the things that we've been is a running theme with talking to international players is the greens. Tell us a little bit about the experience of the greens at the Red Tiger.
Oh yeah, so those are tough greens. The greens are very slopey, but they also roll very fast. And since the grass was Bermuda, it was tough to kind of judge which way it was breaking without looking at the cup. So I think Trump Doral in general has very tough greens, but Red Tiger is the course I played, and those greens were so tough. So it was obviously a privilege to play there, but those greens were tough. Yeah,
Makes it a little more challenging when you're playing on something you've never had before.
it does. Yes.
When you were in Florida, what was some of the things that happened, like besides the long drive contest? Did the Optimists have anything else for you guys to do, like as a social thing or a social gathering for all the players?
Yeah, so they did something totally unrelated to golf. They actually did a trivia night. So they're just kind of asking us like common sense questions, kind of like what's going on in the world. Like there's different categories like pop and stuff like that. But that was one that was really fun because it was just tables and you'd sit with people that you didn't know, and then you just answer questions as a team. So that was also a really good team bonding thing, but also getting to know others.
Tell us a little bit about your experiences with the Optimist International staff and volunteers in Florida.
Yeah, no, they were all great. They're all so happy for you just being there. They're also cheering you on every morning. And I think I'm super thankful that they would wake up at 7, probably 5:30 in the morning just to get up for a 7:30 tea time to help us set up the range and everything. So I'm really thankful they were there, and I'm also really happy that they helped us and like rooted us, like I guess root for us along the way in the journey that we were having down there.
Now, when you guys were playing were you playing in a threesome or a twosome while you were down there at the tournament?
So the first round that I played in, I had a 7:30 tea time, and that was with the twosome. But then all the other days, the next 2 days were with the threesome.
And is there somebody walking along with you helping keep score and enforce rules and seeing what's going on while you guys are walking on the course?
Yeah. So the first day we had a rules official actually follow us for the whole 18, kind of just setting a pace because since we were also the starting tea time, and then the other 2 days, I believe the last day we did have a rules official following us, especially since we were in the last group of the tournament.
What were some of your experiences with the rule judges? Were they very helpful in enforcing things and letting you know different things as you were playing?
Yes, so they were very helpful since they kind of went along, showed you where your golf ball landed, and immediately, if you went in a hazard, they'd immediately know where you drop instead of kind of contemplating on where you could. So they were really helpful. They were always ahead of things, and there was no real like ruling like uncertainties. So that was great.
What advice would you have for a player that's getting ready to head for Florida after they make their qualifier and they're nervous or they're not sure about what's going to happen? What would you tell them the best thing is about the tournament?
Um, I just tell them to look at the positive side, You're gonna meet so many new people. You're never really gonna have this experience much. So just kind of enjoying the experience along the way would be great. And also, I mean, don't put too much pressure on yourself. And I know that's tough to do, but you really got to think about what you can do in the broader terms than the specific golf terms. So I think that's something you should really focus on.
What advice would you have for somebody that doesn't know how to get there, or if they're afraid that they're not afraid that they're not going to be good enough for the tournament to play in?
I think that's one of the things that everyone struggles with a bit is kind of self-doubt. But I think you just really need to trust yourself. Like I said earlier, stick to the process. And I think once you start trusting yourself and doing that, it's like you just kind of go with the journey along. But it's once you trust yourself, that's the biggest thing to kind of overcome.
Do you keep in touch with any of the players that you played with while you were down in Florida?
I do keep in touch with one of the boys from the boys division.
And what is that relationship turning into? Something that you guys talk only golf, or just talk just as a friendship wise, or
Yeah, sometimes I'll just kind of shoot him a text and be like, "Hey, what are you doing recently?" Or like, "What are you doing now?" And he'll just respond. So it's also small talk, but it's not only golf.
and I'm sure the relationships that you make in Florida are very, very good for you and probably lifelong ones you might have for a long time.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's something you can really learn from, but also kind of benefit from. So it's just a great opportunity to have.
Are you looking forward to your qualifier and hopefully making the cut this year to go to Florida?
I am, yes.
When is your qualifier?
Um, I believe I'm not quite sure. It might be the end of June or April or actually I think the tournament. I'm not quite sure. I have to see because our golf schedule is quite packed.
Now, do you play at golf on a other team right now, like a high school team, or do you play with a league of your own, or what kind of things are you doing to keep your game up to for the going into the qualifier?
So my school does not have a high school golf team. I'm in eighth grade right now, so I don't really have any golf teams available, but I do play other tournaments sometimes just to kind of get ready for everything during the summer. But yeah, no leagues or golf teams.
What is some advice you would have for somebody that has played and are debating whether to go back? What would you say to them if you were in their shoes and you weren't sure if you wanted to go back?
I'd say absolutely go for it. There's nothing you can lose from this experience, and I think all you can do is gain. So you should definitely go back. The memories that you make, you can only build off of. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Now, you mentioned you were in the eighth grade, but what are some of your future plans that you have?
I would love to play collegiate golf someday, at a really nice level or something like that. Whatever God plans for me, but I'd love to play collegiate golf.
Is there any school in particular you're hoping for?
I'm fine with whatever.
You just don't care as long as they give you a golf scholarship.
Yes, or just
Any
to give me an offer to play golf.
any idea what you want to study when you go to college?
I'm either business or biology. I'm kind of torn in between the two because I love both subjects like econ and stuff like that.
Do you have any future hopes to be a professional golfer maybe at some point as well, like maybe a PGA at a course or maybe try out for the LPGA tour?
Yeah, no, that's totally a lifelong dream, you know. I think for me, I more just want to compete at the Augusta Women's National Amateur. That'd be so fun, but I also would love to become professional one day.
What do you remember what place you took while you were down and playing in Miami on the Red Tiger?
Yes, I took fourth place.
Fourth out of how many?
Um, I I think it was in the 30s. I'm not quite sure.
So you were pretty high up on the leaderboard for the
Yes, I
all
was the
week
top
long.
American finisher. So yeah,
That must be a pretty good feeling to be the top American finisher.
yes.
Are you hoping to do that well this year?
Yes, I mean, always got to set your goals high. So that's definitely a goal for me is to come home with some hardware.
Now, when you were playing during the tournament, were you guys in the championship round? Was there three of you playing in the threesome that was going on?
Yes. So for the second and third day, I was both in the final group.
Any experience with the golf course with your players or any other people that happened on the course while you were in that championship round?
Yeah, it was just a lot of small talk that day. We didn't keep the mood kind of going to suspense. So we kind of talked about where we're doing. So like I learned that this one girl from Thailand, she's been playing golf since she was like 3, but then this other girl that I played with had only been playing golf for about like since she was 7. So like I've learned a lot of stuff about those people and you know, they were so easygoing that it was really easy to kind of become friends with them.
Do you think you'll ask the Optimist Club to help sponsor you again this year to go towards Miami?
Yes, that'd be great.
What would you tell the staff at Optimist International and the volunteers if they're listening to say to them about the Miami, Florida?
Well, first of all, I just thank them so much for just kind of volunteering out there to just kind of watch us play golf and also root us on. But I just tell them how great of a job they've been doing and kind of they're also like a really big part of why I want to come back because they just made the trip so enjoyable. So that's one thing that I'd mainly tell them.
Has being in the Optimist International Tournament can maybe put a seed for you to be a member of an Optimist Club someday in the future?
Yes, I would absolutely love to become one and kind of give back to the younger kids when I'm older.
And what are some of the things that oh, I gotta think this through here. Hold on. Looking forward into the tournament, are you hoping to play all 4 years of the tournament? Is that your goal to go all the way till you're a senior in high school?
Yes, that's definitely the goal.
And what are some of the things you're going to do to make that goal come true? Is there something that specifically know you can work on to make sure that that goal becomes a reality?
I think it's just kind of maintaining how I'm playing right now and also the mental side of things of just staying mentally strong on the course because that can be definitely a big part of how you play that day. So I think that's the main thing is kind of staying mentally like mentally stable throughout the whole thing, but also as well as playing well.
So you obviously are a pretty good player, being finishing fourth in the tournament. How long have you been playing golf?
I've been playing since I was 10.
And who got you involved in that? What made you want to go play golf?
So when I was younger, I used to play softball and I got a couple concussions from that. So when I was recovering, we had a set in the basement from a couple of friends. So I just kind of wanted to try it out at the golfing range and I hit like I want to say a couple golf balls and I just absolutely fell in love with it.
Is there someone in your family that's inspired you to play or that you like to enjoy playing with on a regular basis?
Well, so neither of my parents play golf, but they both always support me so much, which has also really helped me because, you know, their support has been like throughout this whole journey. So it's just been great.
Well, Avery, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time to share your experiences about the Optimus International Golf Tournament because it's kids like you that keep this program going, and it's important that we keep it going to have continued support. So we can't do without kids like you. And I just appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's great to kind of just talk about my experiences.
Well, good luck this year, and we'll see you in Florida in 2026.
Thank you.